Come with me to restock my vintage booth. This is our shop. Isn't she cute? Got the goods. Adding on a little voiceover here because the music was blaring today, but this is my shop when I arrived. Not in too bad a condition, but just wanted to move some things around. Some interesting news for the resellers today. Mercari had a huge announcement that they're now doing 0% sellers fees, making them the only app to do so. Before I dive into all the changes coming to the Mercari app, hi if we haven't met, my name is Amber. I am a reseller. I resell online as well as I have booths in 2 different storefront locations. And I've been doing this since 2020. So I do feel somewhat qualified to talk about it as a user of Mercari. So let's dive into the changes that both sellers and buyers can expect while using the Mercari app. So first we're gonna start with the changes for the sellers. Now, most notably, like I mentioned, there's no more selling fees. They're the only app to do this. Every other selling fee has generally like an 8 to 15% fee placed on anything that you sell. Mercari used to be 10 and that is now gone, which is pretty crazy. This one is interesting. So 0 ACH fees when using your balance to make a purchase. So now this is telling you that when you're using your card or anything other than your balance to make a purchase, there's going to be some sort of fee involved for the buyer. So if you have a balance, it's more beneficial for you to shop using it. This is the one that hurts me the most. Withdraw as much of your funds as you wish for a flat $2 fee. This makes me really sad personally, just because I know this is going to discourage me from wanting to withdraw my funds. So a little bit of a bummer. I'm curious what you guys think about this one. And if you're wondering when these changes start, they start officially today. So any listings that you make from here on out or any listings that you update will automatically see these changes. Now, buyers can also expect some changes. So first of all, we've got 0% payment processing fees, again, when using your balance, which tells you when you're not using your balance, like most people do, you will be facing some sort of processing fee. Additionally, return for any reason. Now, as a buyer, obviously this is great. You know, sometimes people aren't fully transparent about what they're selling online, but as a seller, this could be a little bit concerning. And then these are also related to that streamlined return process and free return shipping. You've really removed any obstacles for somebody to be able to return their item. Now, that being said, I think eBay is technically the same way. Like, I think you can return anything on eBay, even if the seller says that you're not allowed to. But I'm curious, fellow resellers, what do you think about that? Is that concerning to you, or do you think it's probably not a big deal? And this isn't really part of the announcements, but Mercari does have a cute new little logo. I have to say, I really like the logo. I think there's a new sense of playfulness in it, but it's not that different from the original, so we still keep that strong brand. Never in my life have I made a de-influencing video before, but I've never felt so passionate about de-influencing from a certain product as I did when I bought these. These are the Apple AirPod Pro Maxes, and let me start this by saying, I am an Apple girly, okay? Since like 2008, I have only ever owned Apple technology, Apple computers, Apple phones, Apple watches. These are the worst ones. This is the worst product I think that they've ever made. And here is why. First things first, you might notice like, oh, you got the green ones? No, I didn't. I actually got the white ones, the white and silver, because I figured that looked the most classic. Big mistake, they stain so easily. I do not understand how people are wearing these to the gym, unless you're not sweating at the gym. Couldn't be me. But if you were wearing these to the gym and you are sweating, just know they will stain and they will start to turn yellow and gross. Now, perhaps most importantly, the sound quality on these is not that good. The noise blocking, I've had way better. In fact, I've had the original AirPods and the AirPod Pros. I liked both of them better. I still have the AirPod Pros and I will use those over these almost any day of the week. If you've been feeling burnt out on thrift stores lately, allow me to introduce you to estate sales. If you don't know what an estate sale is, it's kind of what it sounds like. Essentially, somebody either passes away or moves out, hires a liquidation company, and they host a sale of the entire contents of a home. And yes, as you can imagine, a lot of times this is reserved for older people who have passed away, so you are going to find a lot of really cool vintage. Not only is this another fun way to shop secondhand, but also you get to go in some real time capsules of homes. Some of these homes haven't been touched since the 60s or the 70s, and it's always amazing to see what it looked like back then. But be warned, because some houses like this one are going to be full of weird things like dolls and stuff. So just don't say I didn't warn you about it, okay? Generally speaking, when it comes to estate sales, if you live live in Orange County and care about saving our planet, you are going to love this new partnership between EcoNow California and Sustainably Vintage, bringing you thoughtfully curated secondhand clothing available now in Anaheim. When I say things like thoughtfully curated, I mean that I put huge emphasis on focusing on natural fiber so that your pieces would last a long time, as well as inclusivity, because all good sustainability is intersectional. Pieces were chosen with high quality in mind, as well as a range of sizes, currently ranging from size small all the way up to size 4 and 5X. Keep in mind though that these aren't mass-produced collections, so the
Good morning, Dwight.
Really?
How's it going, Brendan?
If you were a theater major, did you go to a school where you were only on first name basis with your professors, or did you have to call them Mr. and Mrs.? Because we were first name basis, but like, was that the norm? I had no idea making fresh bread was this easy, and I'm going to show you how. So I got this bread maker for $10 at a thrift store. We're going to use 1 cup of water straight into the bread maker. We're going to use 1/3 cup of milk. We're going to use 3 tablespoons of butter. Remember to remove the paper. As this is a King Arthur recipe, we're going to use King Arthur's bread flour. We're going to need a total of 3 3/4 cups, but we're only going to do the first 2 cups, and then we're going to follow it up with 3 tablespoons of sugar, 1/2 tablespoon of salt, and then 1/2 tablespoon of active dry yeast. This is the one that I use. It's just from Target, and you're going to put that right on top of all of the dry ingredients. Then we're going to follow up with our remaining cups of flour, and from there, that is it for ingredients. Now majority of your work is done. You're just going to go ahead and close your bread maker, and then I'm just using the most basic setting, basic bread on medium, and you're going to hit start. This is going to take about 3 hours in total to bake. You'll also want to account for some time after the fact to let it rest. And after 3.5 hours, you'll be left with a gorgeous loaf of bread that only costs about $1.50 to $2 per loaf, depending on the ingredients you're using. I simply chop this up, put it in a bag, and put it in the fridge to enjoy throughout the week.